Hi everyone, I would like to introduce you to an absolutely awesome client of mine. This is Susie Johnson. Hi Susie.
Hi Silvana, how are you?
Good. Susie, thank you so much for chatting with me today. I was wondering if you could share with everyone what you do and what initially brought you to working with me.
Yep, I would love to share with you a little bit of my journey. Well, it's probably quite obvious what my profession is. I am a visual artist. I'm based in Scotland. Our paths crossed some time ago. I was fortunate enough to find you through a mutual friend, and my seeking support at the time was definitely based on an understanding that I wanted to improve many aspects of my life: emotional, psychological, physical, intellectual. And over the piece, I have benefited profoundly from the work that we have done together. And I do believe that actually it has been and it continues to be transformational for me and all those in my energetic field.
What is it, do you think, that has really resonated with you in the training?
I think for me, because I have got this sort of desire to sort of understand what's true, which I understand is also part of kind of the problem, Western thinking. We want dogma and we want to know right from wrong.
That's
I think
right.
what really struck me with you is that I occasionally in the past have been suspicious of aspects of whether it's counseling or healing or transformational work. And I really understood very quickly that you know your stuff and that you study and that you live and breathe what you explore with your clients. And that to me is really significant because it's not out of a book. It's a combination for me of really nailing and drilling down into, I would say to you, Silvana, I want to know the science of that. And you would give that to me. But actually I learnt and I continue to practice some of the skills that are incredibly empowering for me, whether it's in a professional capacity as a lecturer in an art college where, I do find public speaking really tough at times. I know I need to do the work. There are no shortcuts. The aspect of working on self is something that is ongoing, but equally letting go of the ego is something that I think has been really powerful for me. Of course, I haven't managed to do it because I'm not suggesting for 1 minute that I'm some sort of enlightened being. I'm not. I'm just human. But I know when I'm having to wrestle with that dominant narrative in my head, and the work that we have done has absolutely cemented an understanding that over time, and I recognize that this is not a quick fix. This is not, as it sometimes is in this modern day crazy world of operating, that, time is precious and it's money and it's this and it's that. Actually, sometimes we need to serve ourselves by saying, I have to give this a little bit of time to retrain my brain.
That's right.
To actually live the best life moment to moment that I can, and to be very, very clear about my values and check in with my values regularly, because when I'm a bit off, it's usually because my values have been challenged or diluted, or I've got caught up in a narrative which is not helpful.
Can you possibly share how intuition has influenced or impacted your work as an artist?
Yeah, well, I think when we met, Silvana, I was, it's fair to say I was at quite a low ebb. I'd just come out of a marriage. I had 2 little kids. There was a lot of fear in my life, and I'd cut off that sort of, I'm not listening to my intuition. I mean, it was just, everything was about practicalities and getting the job done and making sure that the show was stayed on the, on the road. I, over time, recognized that through the practice of meditation, visualization, work in terms of me checking in with what my soul's desire was, moment to moment, really profoundly expedited a change in my behaviors. And a lot of that was simply checking into catching myself before I would make a definitive decision. And, I'm not trying to sound wacky or anything, but actually it's become a practice, a methodology that I use, whether it's when I'm in my studies. I'm embarking on a PhD at the moment, whether it's in the studio, whether it's choosing a color, whether it's working with a material, whether it's, it's right across every aspect. It's whether I'm mothering or in my friendship relationships or with my partnership with my partner. intuition plays out as and when we allow it to. And when it's silenced, I recognize that it can end up not with the outcome that we're looking for or that we recognize as best for us.
As an artist, it's such an important aspect. So what do you think it is? Was it a conscious or unconscious decision, do you think?
I think trust plays a big part in this for me. I think once upon a time I was somebody that used to believe that I was completely and utterly driving everything in my life, that there was no extraneous factors whatsoever. I simply don't uphold that value at all anymore. I recognize that, of course, I am very involved in the creation of my work, my interpersonal relationships, but I'm not the sole creator. And this is not about me becoming sort of biblical or sort of theological. It's actually it's a trust that life, I am where I am meant to be, and the path that I have trodden is the path that I was due to tread. And of course I've been involved in, it's a bit like the sliding doors scenario, you know, you miss the train, you don't meet that person. I get all that. I really do. And but equally, I think that perhaps there was a distrust for me. I didn't grow up in a religious background. In fact, it was agnostic, and my parents never threw any religious underpinning at me at all, or my siblings. And maybe in a way that kind of lack of a foundation maybe enabled me to sort of spiral into places that I would never have got myself into and never have found out this work was out there for me. So I think what's great about intuition is it's readily there. It's not something you have to scrabble about and study for 10 years to find. It's a kind of, it's a gut. I know that, you know, it's the stereotypical listen to your gut, but that's how I operate. And I get it wrong. I get it wrong as well, because sometimes I go into an egoic place where I think, oh, I seek validation. I need validation for that. I have to give a great lecture. I have to make a great piece of work. The reality is that the creative flow comes and goes, no matter what, in whatever workplace we're in, at whatever level our position is in the workplace, whether we're self-employed, whether we're part of a massive conglomerate. We all have these inner demons that can play out, but they play out a lot less for me because I recognize that failure and making mistakes is a massive part of the growth and how the work is transformed.
Susie, for people that have never worked with me before, is there anything that you would like to say about your experience that might give them an insight into either the training, working with me, support, anything at all that you think might be helpful that you'd like to share?
Yeah, of course, there are many, many aspects, Silvana, of the work that you offer to your clients. I suppose for me, the proof is in the pudding. I recognize that as time goes by, you know, an anchor for me, if I'm a wee bit off kilter, is I go to your book, Everyday Miracle Maker, and there's a little nugget that I know I'm drawn to. And even that, like the intuitive response to picking something up and the call of things, you know, thing power, whether it's a book or an object or a phone call, those things that we used to do, you know, or even see somebody. I think that for me, the book, you know, the book is a great way in. I mean, if anybody's thinking, oh, you know, I'd like to do a bit of work, but I'm not sure, you know, first of all, check in with yourself, check in and think, you know, read up about you, have a little look, see what you're about, get a feel for the platform that you offer, get a sense of what is this person doing, you know, what is her agenda. I know what your agenda is because we've worked for a long time together. I understand and I fully trust and I recognize that the job that you do is transforming lives and livelihoods and helping us all understand that we are absolutely capable of rebooting our systems and reaching amazing places. I'm not talking about financial, you know, wealth creation obsession. I'm talking about the bigger gamut. I'm talking about in whatever area we focus upon, it is possible for us to transform and evolve and learn. So it's the book is a great place to start. I think intuition, here I am sort of talking about how profound the aspect of developing my intuition has been on my work, on my practice. I mean, the fact that I'm doing a PhD. Never in a million years would I have thought that possible, given that when I was growing up at school, I was always reminded how thick I was. So it's amazing, as you've always said to me, Susie, a belief is, a thought is just a child of a belief system. And then belief systems can be changed so deeply, even though they're so ingrained. So yeah, I think check you out. I know you've got a platform online. Check in with some of the language that you use. Does it resonate? Does it not? It's okay. It's okay to have those sort of, I'm not sure. But equally, there will be something that might just light that spark, which it did for me. And it has undoubtedly been the most extraordinarily powerful work that I have ever done in terms of self-development.
Susie, thank you so much for being so generous with what you've shared today. I really appreciate it.
Well, my gratitude is big, Silvana, for you. And I'm really excited about, your platform for spreading and sharing the work that you do. So thank you. And thanks for having me today.
Thanks, Susie.
Thank you.